Good day, happy Monday, and welcome to Dub's Paradise, episode 5. I'm Dub, short for Big Dub, and remember, don't argue with people who love to argue. You're only gonna be stressing yourself out for no reason when you're just trying to enjoy a Saturday night. And one more thing, I don't know how people can be talk show hosts because they gotta stay healthy all year round. And right now, I got a runny nose. I'm like sneezing, clearing my throat. It's going to be rough, but we're here doing it. Today, we're going to talk about the weekend's Premier League matches. We're going to talk about Chelsea's game today against Newcastle. We'll preview the Champions League matches this week, and we'll talk about who's in and who's out of Indian Wells. We'll talk about the weekend's Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia, and we'll mention a bit of NFL news from this past weekend. So, this Premier League weekend was one of the biggest weekends so far in the season. We saw some great matches with some big teams, saw some draws, saw some wins, saw some strange losses. But before we get to the major event, we'll talk about Arsenal. Arsenal struggled to beat Brentford. They won 2-1, but didn't look comfortable doing so and had to wait till the 86th minute to score the game-winning goal. At the start of the game, they looked good as usual, but then a mistake by their goalie led to a tie in extra time of the first half. And then in the second half, Brentford, like I said last week, they're no pushovers, even though they're facing the best team, arguably. They would come out trying to win that game and trying to not be embarrassed, etc. Because recently Arsenal's just been scoring 5 goals, 4 goals, just like it's nothing. And Brentford didn't want to get shown up like that. So they're a tough team, and they did well. Ex-Chelsea player Kai Havertz, German international Kai Havertz, scored the game winner. He missed some chances early on where it could have been less stressful for Arsenal to win that game, but he managed to get a nice header in the back of the net, won the game in the 86th minute. It was good. Kai Havertz, he's not the most clinical striker, but on a team like Arsenal, I guess he's not as exposed as he was on Chelsea because Arsenal is the best team in the league. Arsenal's going to be playing in the Champions League, and if they perform like they did the other against Brentford, it's not going to be, and they're already down 0-1 on aggregate to Porto in Champions League. So if they perform like they did on the weekend, they'll be out of the Champions League before they know it, which could be Tuesday, but we'll talk about that later. So Arsenal is now, after getting the full 3 points against Brentford, they're now top of the league, tied with Liverpool for the most points, but Arsenal, like I said, scored 4 goals pretty easily, so they have a very wide margin in goal differential. But just like Liverpool, just like Man City, they have no room for error. After Wednesday's game in the Premier League, they're going to be on international break for a couple of weeks, and Arsenal next game is going to be against Man City, and that's going to be another popcorn matchup that we're going to be love to watch. That's going to be in like March 30th, so we have some time, and hopefully we can survive till then. So, struggling Manchester United managed to win their game. They played rather well, even though they won by 2 penalty kicks. I would say those penalties were well earned by Garnacho, who got them both. The player, who were they playing again? They were, Man City played Everton, who got unlucky this season because they got minus 10 points pretty much right off the bat, and then that got challenged, and now they got only -6 points. So they're like what, like 14th in the standings, like 15th, 16th in the standings, and I thought they were gonna put up a better fight against Man United. They had some good chances, but they couldn't finish them, and they allowed 2 penalties that, like I said, were well earned by Garnacho, and Bruno Fernandes finished one, Marcus Rashford finished the other. It would have been nice to see them miss a penalty, but it is what it is. I don't know. They're missing their top striker. Marcus Rashford seems to be defending himself too much, and then like he's not really performing on the pitch. What did he say again in his player? Like whenever you see a player do like one of those players tribune for the Athletic, it's like they're doing it for a reason. It's like too many people are hating on me, so I want them to realize that you shouldn't hate on me. I'm a nice guy, even though. What did he say? If you're with me, good. If you're against me, even better. But after that, he scored a nice goal against Man City, and they lost that game anyway. So it's whatever. Oh, I'm trying to be into this episode of Dub's Paradise, but I'm sick. Yesterday, Tottenham faced Aston Villa, and Aston Villa got off to a good start this season. They were a very strong team. They were 4th place in the Premier League, and I believe they still are 4th. Even Tottenham got off to a good start this year with their new coach. He has a long name, but I can't really pronounce. Like his first name is Ange, and but they started to slow down too. But they were better than Aston Villa. They won 4-0. Took a while for them to get the first goal. I believe in the first half it was still 0-0, and then second half they scored 4 goals. They scored 1 goal, which I saw, and then I went to go for a drive, and then I got in the car to watch the game, and it was 2-0, and that was like literally 2 minutes after. And then as I was driving, I was listening to the game, and I heard that they got a red card. Who was it? McGinn got a red card for Aston Villa, and then I had to stop watching because I had an appointment to get a haircut. And then when I saw the score at the end, it was 4-0. So Aston Villa really imploded. They're really going downhill after their strong start. And Tottenham is just a good team, well managed. They got Son, Madison, Sarr, a lot of good players who could score the ball. And Aston Villa, they just didn't look prepared. Didn't look like they wanted to get that result. But sometimes it just happens. You see in Chelsea do that a lot of times this season. Just struggle. Just like in the extra time of the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, those subs did not do anything. Madueke, Mudryk, who I like, and who was the third sub? Was it Sterling? I don't know, but he wasn't doing that much either, and I was disappointed. But I talk about too many goals I talk about Chelsea too much, but I'll talk about them pretty soon because they're playing Newcastle today. I gotta do this. It feels like I'm just sniffing too much, struggling to survive this show, this episode of Dub's Paradise, but we're here doing it. So, the game that we were all waiting for was Liverpool at home versus Man City. Liverpool, they started their usual young lineup that Jurgen Klopp can just make magic with, even though they're not veterans like the Man City lineup. And you saw in the beginning of the game, Man City was a bit on the front foot. They were dominating at the start of the game. It took a while for Liverpool to start to get their feet under them, to get the home crowd more wild and more with them. but they did it. They managed to draw. Kevin De Bruyne had a great corner kick. He took a quick corner kick that led to a goal by John Stones, which is a nice little foot movement, some good footwork. And yeah, like I said, everyone on Man City they're just great players. So no matter if you're a defender, if you're a midfielder, if you're a forward, if you're a striker, anyone can score on Man City. And that's what happens. Kevin De Bruyne just need him to set it up, use his skills, use his football IQ, and that led to a great goal. And it was 1-0, and it looked like they could get 2 maybe, but it didn't happen because it's just tough, especially on the road at Anfield against Liverpool. But the second half was a lot different. Liverpool came out, they substituted for Salah, and he came on. Virgil van Dijk is just incredible, doesn't make any mistakes at all. And yeah, Virgil van Dijk is on my ultimate team in EAFC, and I had him for he was one of those 99 game players, and now he's down to his last game, and I put him on the bench because I didn't want to use him up and not have him anymore. So it's hard to see how a defender can be that great, but Virgil van Dijk is incredible, and he saved a lot of goals last night that could have been goals if it wasn't for him. Liverpool managed to score a goal on a penalty shot, and I would say I was watching the game, but then I saw the replay, but I had to step out for a little bit, and I saw the replay, and like I was preoccupied, and then I saw rather quickly that what happened for that penalty kick to happen, and it was because the goaltender ran out and tried to get the ball before the Liverpool player did, and he kind of made contact, and that led to a penalty. And the goalie even got hurt from that, and it was a tough call. I don't know too much about what dictates a penalty because I've seen so much controversy around that, so I don't want to make any speculations about if that was or was not a penalty. But even after that, there were some things that could have been a penalty. Maybe, depends whose side you're on, and I'm a neutral, but I guess I was cheering for Man City because of Liverpool beating Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. But yeah, the penalty was finished. It was finished rather smoothly. The goaltender for Arsenal guessed the right, or Arsenal, the goaltender for Man City guessed the right direction, but it was just a laser, and he wasn't quick enough to stop it. But if he did miss that, I would have been laughing. But he didn't miss it. And for the rest of the game after that, the crowd was just in it. Whenever Man City had the ball, they were whistling, they were booing, they were just doing everything to distract them, and it was working. It looked like you never really see Man City become rattled like that, and they were pretty rattled. They were holding on for dear life to get a tie. They held on. They made some subs. They subbed out Kevin De Bruyne, subbed out Julian Alvarez, and they just wanted to. Pep Guardiola just wanted to try to make some magic happen there. They needed some quickness down the wing. Put in Doku, who hit the post. He hit the post on what would have been the game winner, but then he also had some controversy in extra time, where he was trying to time up to kick the ball out off the corner, and he kicked the guy in the chest. He kicked Liverpool's player in the chest, and everyone was like, "That's a penalty. That should be a penalty." And of course, Man City player was like, "No, it wasn't a penalty." A lot of neutrals, I guess. I can't really tell if people are neutral, if they hate Man City, if they love Liverpool. I was watching that, and I was like, I don't think he tried to kick the Liverpool player. Obviously he didn't try to kick him, but he was just trying to time it up properly. He just missed the ball and hit the guy. And I guess you gotta be consistent, and even though it was an accident, it still should be punished maybe. But in a game like that, it would have been kind of harsh. But it was kind of harsh to kick the man too. I don't know. I'm just gonna stay away from that because I don't want to get into trouble with these fans of Liverpool or Man City. But I would say a draw was a good result. If they scored regularly without a penalty shot to win the game, that would have been better whoever won. But to win the game with like in 7 minutes of extra time with a penalty kick, that would have been right. That would have been right. And I don't think anyone would have want to saw that happen, because that's not Premier League. That's not how the top team should win games. If it was a clear and blatant earlier on in the game, maybe it would have been a penalty, but not so late. You gotta have some respect. I don't think Liverpool would have been complaining about that, because what matters is just 3 points. But they should have won the game if they wanted to win it in regular time. They should have scored more goals. So now I believe the standings in the Premier League are: Arsenal has 64 points, Liverpool has 64 points, and Man City has 63. And like I said, after the international break, Man City and Arsenal are playing each other. Man City, let's see who's home for that game. Man City's home. They're playing at the Etihad against Arsenal on March 31st, Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's gonna be another great matchup. And I mean, if I'm predicting it now, I would say Man City's gonna win that. Arsenal really has no room for error, and Man City is not gonna lose again. I don't see them losing again in the Premier League. Like, they don't gotta face Chelsea again, so they're not gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? They already tied them twice in 2 great games. So Arsenal on the road is gonna have a tough time. Liverpool has no room for error too. I don't know if they seem like they could win out also and win the Premier League, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to see a four-peat Premier League champion. I don't know if I want to see Liverpool win. I guess I'm a hater on Liverpool because, like I said, they beat Chelsea. And Arsenal is like, they think that London is red, but London is actually blue. Chelsea is London. So I think I'd rather see Man City win Champions League. I mean, the Premier League this season again. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hope that segment was clear, because like I said, my voice probably sounds strange. My nose maybe making me sound nasally, which is annoying me. And I'm trying to be clear, but it's tough. I gotta make sure to take care of my throat, take care of my sinuses, and be healthy if I want to do a talk show like this every day. But might gotta change to once a week. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, today Chelsea's back at Stamford Bridge and they're facing Newcastle United. The last game they played against Newcastle, it was just an embarrassment. They seemed to not have any effort whatsoever for that game, and they lost. They really got smoked, and I was just depressed watching that, because I was like, wow, like, put some effort in. They had, like, everyone was talking about Reece James being the best player, the best, like, right back in the world. And then that game, he came back, and he didn't impress me one bit. Malo Gusto is incredible. He is, from what I've seen, the best at that position, at least for Chelsea, from what I've seen from them. Today, apparently Chelsea is missing some key players. Conor Gallagher, I believe, is sick, just like me. They have some injuries still, like Nkunku hasn't been playing, Lavia hasn't been playing, Thiago Silva, Cucurella haven't been playing. But whoever starts today is gonna have to perform. I think they're talking about Cassidy joining the starting 11 today as a midfielder to replace Gallagher. And everyone is excited to see him. He's a young guy. He was on loan for a different Premier League team. I forgot what it was. and now Poch called him back. He hasn't really been playing, so I'm not sure why he called him back just to have him on the bench. But I guess it was for this moment. He's gonna have to show up, be prepared, and show what he can do. I'm excited if he starts. The last game Chelsea played, they went with a back three, and that seemed to work until second half where it didn't work. But they still managed to score a goal and tie the game and get a point from that. But today, they need all 3 points. Seems like they're gonna go back to 4 at the back, and hopefully starting is like at the back is gonna be Gusto, Disasi, Chalaba, I guess, Alfie Gilchrist maybe. I don't know who was injured. I wasn't aware. I wasn't following who was injured. I just found out this morning that Conor Gallagher is not gonna play. But if Chilwell is playing, that'd be good. He could start at the left back. Like I said, Alfie Gilchrist can take his place if he's not. I don't think Colwell was playing today, but sometimes he makes mistakes. But usually he's good. Sometimes I would say he's inconsistent. But to miss him, it's gonna be a loss for us, like a loss in the lineup, but not a loss in the game, because we have good replacements. Just that Poch has to train us well, train them well to be prepared. Boy, it's quite cold in my room, and all these, like, it was warm outside, it was cold, and now I'm sick because of it, and it's just cheesing me. So if I were to predict Chelsea's lineup today, it'd be Gusto if he's healthy, Disasi if he's healthy, Chalaba, Alfie Gilchrist, defense. Obviously Petrovic in goal. I haven't really seen anything wrong with Robert Sanchez this season. Sometimes he makes bad passes, like when he passed the ball straight to Declan Rice, and Declan Rice scored from 40 yards out. And that was the reason why we tied Arsenal, and we could have won that game. But Petrovic had made good saves. He made some key saves. But sometimes he allows some goals. Sometimes he passes the ball too far, and then it goes back. We lose possession. But I've been impressed. It's hard to really judge goaltenders, but who has made the least mistakes, I would say that's been Petrovic. So I don't mind him starting. So the midfield, if it's 4 at the back, midfield 3, the usual Caicedo, Enzo. Seems like Gallagher's gonna be missing, so who will start in his position is gonna be, I guess, like I said, Cassidy. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. And the forwards, so where are we at? We're at Petrovic, we're at Gusto, Disasi, Chalaba, Gilchrist, Enzo. We're at Caicedo. We're at Cassidy. That's 8. So I would finish it off with Mudryk, Palmer, Jackson. 11 right there. Mudryk maybe on the wing. Palmer on the wing, and Jackson a striker. I don't think Mudryk can really play striker. I think he should maybe be in the middle. That's what everyone was saying. He should be in the middle of the lineup, like where Conor Gallagher would normally play. But then, who would be on the wing? Who would be striker? Like Nkuku's not there to be striker. For Jackson to be on the left wing, but so it could be Mudryk, Jackson, Palmer, and that is a great lineup. It's not like a world class lineup, but against Newcastle, it should be a winning lineup. And we've shown up against teams like Arsenal, Man City. We got smoked against Liverpool in the Premier League matchup, but we should win this game. if we come out, Poch has a good plan for us, and the team put some effort in, score first, score second, score third. And Newcastle's honestly been struggling. They have a good team, but they've been struggling. Well, they have a decent team, like a team like Chelsea that's mediocre, but Chelsea, they have more potential because they have better players who are not world class yet, but they're on their way to becoming world class. So obviously I predict Chelsea wins that game. Can they score 3 goals? That'd be kind of a miracle, I feel like. So maybe they can score 2 goals, and maybe they can not allow any goals. So maybe they'll win 2-0 today. That's what I'll say. Chelsea wins 2-0. Who's gonna score? Let's go with Nico Jackson scores 2. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. Cole Palmer, a couple assists. If Mudryk starts, maybe he'll score 1. Maybe he'll get some assists. But that'd be nice to see a Chelsea win on a Monday. Start the week off right. Okay. So that's it for the Premier League action. The Champions League starts back up tomorrow. They're off for the week. Last week there weren't that many exciting games because all the aggregate scores were like already a blowout, except for Real Madrid, who, like I said, struggled to win. Tomorrow, Arsenal is going to be playing Porto, and Barcelona is going to be playing Napoli. And Arsenal is at home. They're going to be playing at the Emirates, down 1-0 on aggregate. I haven't really seen Porto play except for their first Champions League game against Arsenal, and that was a struggle. Like they really made Arsenal stress out. Obviously they lost that game, Arsenal did. And now they're at home, and now they have to score 2 goals at least, maybe 3. So it's not going to be easy for them, and they tend to allow goals. So they're going to have to really score at least 3, maybe 4, who knows. But I don't know, maybe just 3 goals they got to score. But if they don't win that game, they're going to be a laughing stock. But who knows if they're going to try to just win the Premier League this season or not. But Champions League, maybe they're out of their league in Champions League. So I'll give my prediction for Arsenal game tomorrow. Barcelona playing Napoli, and Barcelona's been having kind of disappointing season in La Liga. Napoli, I believe, also not having a great season in Serie A, and they're tied on aggregate 1-1. Barcelona's playing at home, so they might have the advantage. I honestly can't say who's a better team. Even last game they tied 1-1. So maybe it could be another tie, and they go to penalty kicks to see who moves on, which would be rather exciting. So, and I'll also give my prediction for that game tomorrow. Wednesday is going to be Dortmund against PSV, and they're also tied aggregate 1-1. It's going to be tough to predict that game, but like I said, I like the German teams, and I like Dortmund especially. So, and they're at home, so that they should have some confidence to win that game. They've had some bad luck with calls going against them, but they managed to make it this far. So I think they'll do rather well tomorrow on Wednesday, but I'll predict that later on. And the last game, or the game going on at the same time, is gonna be Atletico Madrid against Inter Milan, and I believe Inter is down 0-1 aggregate, and they're going to be on the road playing Atletico Madrid. I'm not quite sure who's better between those teams either, but Oh wait, no, Inter is up 1-0 on aggregate. So they might hold on against that, but like I said, Atletico is at home, so they might score a couple of goals. So Inter gotta make sure they gotta score too. I'm not really a fan of either team. I don't like Italian teams too much. I don't like Spanish teams too much. It's kind of like personal bias. But I do like Italy. I haven't been yet, but I gotta go. But Spain, I do not like at all. Don't ask me why. If you're from Spain watching this, you probably know why. uh, and I'll predict that game also tomorrow. This episode of Dubs Paradise is gonna be a struggle episode. I call that the struggle episode because I'm just like barreling through this. I can't even speak properly. I've been speaking for already half an hour. My voice is like I'm just struggling. My nose is not letting me do this. Like I gotta have like maybe like a guest come on and talk when I can't talk. Like, hey, I'm here for Dub. He's just struggling. He needs some cold effects. He needs some halls. He needs some Buckleys or something like that. But it's just my nose. Ay ay ay. Okay. Over the weekend, we had some more results from Indian Wells. Now, like I said, the bracket starting to close itself. We saw who won, saw who lost, saw who had to withdraw. Like, I picked Rebecca to win that game and to win the entire tournament on the women's side, and she had to withdraw due to illness or an injury, which is sad because she had to withdraw to Australia too, I think, and she hasn't been healthy. One of my favorite tennis players, I think her first name is Karolina Mushova. She's a Czech Republic, and she hasn't been playing this season. And I'm always looking for her, but she has a wrist injury, and it's too bad that she's out because she would be doing well so far in the tournament, I believe. So hopefully she can come back soon this season, make a nice comeback. So also in Indian Wells, Pegula America lost. Coco Gauff was stressed out, but she managed to win. Another one of my favorite players, Osapenko, out. Naomi Osaka managed to do well. She's still playing, and she's playing today. Leila Fernandez lost her game. She had a tough game to win, but she lost it. The Americans, I believe, like I always say, they're not that serious. Ben Shelton managed to win his game. Tiafoe lost his game against Tsitsipas, who I also said is kind of overrated. But if two overrated players are playing each other, I guess the best one is gonna win, and that was Tsitsipas because he is a higher ranking than Tiafoe. But Tiafoe was like 12th, 13th, 14th last year, and now he's like 18th. Tsitsipas was like top 5, top 6, top 7 last year. Now he's 11th. So those guys just going down. Tsitsipas, I think he's playing a guy he should be better than in his next matchup. But hey, maybe he might go far. Maybe he heard me talking and he's going far. That'd be cool for him. And also the German Zverev won his matchup, so that's good for Germany, for Deutschland. So Sinner managed to win his game. He's still cruising. Has some good momentum from Australian Open, and he's still in the game. Djokovic still in the game. He's playing today. Alcaraz cruised past Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian. That was tough luck. Like usually Felix loses his second round matchup, or his third round matchup, but it's usually not against the number 1 player or number 2 player Alcaraz. So this is probably a tough draw for him to go far. Raonic, he got past Nadal because Nadal withdrew from the tournament. He beat his first match. He won his first matchup, and then before his second matchup, he withdrew. So I guess same thing with Nadal, just father time biting him. And it's not easy when you're getting older and you want to, like, not everyone is Novak Djokovic. So by next weekend, we're going to be having the quarterfinals, of course, semifinals, and the finals of the Indian Wells. And it's going to continue to close the bracket, and we'll see who wins before Miami. Maybe there can be like a back to, like, what do they call it? The Sunshine Double, or like the Crown Double of whoever wins Indian Wells and then wins Miami back to back is a special achievement. So we'll see who wins that. Hopefully the Sinner. Keep fighting. Keep getting through this episode. You're doing well. Over the weekend, Formula One was in Saudi Arabia. Typical result: Max Verstappen won, Checo second, Charles Leclerc third. Mercedes, George Russell sixth, Lewis Hamilton ninth. They're falling off. So many rumors about what's going on with Red Bull. So much controversy, so much drama. There's even some news that's, I don't even know if it's gonna be, if it's like realistic to even talk about this, but they're always saying, oh, what if Max goes to Mercedes, and then if that happens, and all of a sudden Mercedes has like the fastest car again, it's gonna be absolutely ridiculous what they've done to Lewis. Just embarrassing, just exposing what they've done to the 7-time world champion. It should be 8th. For Ferrari, Carlos Sainz had appendicitis, emergency surgery, and he was replaced by the Brit Oliver Bearman. And after just missing out on Q3 to Lewis, he did better than both. No, not better than both Mercedes. I think he came 7th. And he got point or 6, maybe it was 6th or 7th, but he won the driver of the day, and I voted for him because he did quite well for his first race in a Ferrari. That car, I'm sure, is tough to control. I'm sure he was a bit nervous to start, and he did well. Very impressive. So maybe he'll get a seat in Formula One rather quickly. Who knows? But we saw last year how Nick DeVries was doing well in his reserve role drive, but then once he got the full seat at AlphaTauri, now named RB, he choked, and they gave the seat to Daniel Ricciardo because Ricciardo was a better driver. And Ricciardo's been up and down this year. Didn't do well in well, it's only been 2 races, so up and down it's like whatever. But Tsunoda did well for RB on Saturday, better than Ricciardo. I think Tsunoda deserves a good chance to get that Red Bull seat if Max leaves or if Checo leaves or whatever happens with that team. It's gonna be crazy. But it seems like I don't know. It seems like even though they have turmoil at Red Bull, they still have the fastest car, and that's all that matters. So I believe they're gonna be off for 2 weeks. No race this week. I'm gonna be back next week in Australia. That race is always exciting. Australians love to see race cars. There's probably nothing better to do there besides wait for the Grand Prix every weekend or every year. Just boiling, just dealing with kangaroos and weird creatures, and just trying to survive in that heat. Would I go to Australia? I don't know about that. It'll take a lot out of me to go to Australia. To go on that flight, first of all, oh my god, I don't want to even think about it. So in the NBA and NHL, there wasn't that much action over the weekend. Not a lot of noteworthy things talking about. The Leafs won 3-2. Montreal, surprisingly, they managed to win that game, which is good. Austin Matthews didn't score, so he's still at 54 goals, trying to get to 70 allegedly. First, you gotta get to 65, which is what Ovechkin got, but we'll see. We'll see what he gets, what he finishes with every game. He doesn't score. All of a sudden, he's not getting 70 goals. Maybe he gets 68. Maybe he'll get 66. Maybe he'll get 65, etc., until season's finished and the Leafs are out of the playoffs, because they aren't that kind of team. They aren't a playoff team. They're just a regular team who's good and who tries to win sometimes. But the playoffs are a different story. But Leafs, let's move on to NFL. There's some okay news this weekend in NFL. Starting with Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, who was holding out last season, and they signed him to a 1-year contract last season, and when he came back, he was showing that he earned that money, that he'll perform for the money. So now they extended him to a 5-year deal. Was it 5 years? I believe it was 5 years, and that was well deserved. So hopefully now he earns it even more and helps Chiefs go to a 3-peat. I mean, I wouldn't mind the 3-peat. I won't if it's the Steelers who end it. That's what I want, but I'd rather see a 3-peat than anyone else win besides the Steelers. Pretty much, that's how it goes. The Patriots, I believe, have the 3rd pick in the draft, and they're gonna draft a quarterback. Seems to be the case because they traded their starter Mac Jones to the Jaguars. He's gonna back up Trevor Lawrence. So Jags fans better pray that Trevor Lawrence stays healthy all season, because if Mac Jones comes in, it's gonna be like a sickness. Just, you don't want to see that happen. It's gonna be like me right now, just struggling to get through a game, an episode, etc. I mean, it's no bash on Mac Jones, but he's no Trevor Lawrence, and it seems like New England's gonna move on and draft a quarterback. It's hard to predict the top 3 because, I mean, I have my LSU bias of Jaden Daniels, and who says he won't be as good as Caleb Williams or Drake May? I don't know that. And on a team like the Patriots with a good history, with a good coaching staff, no Belichick anymore, but still, that franchise just emits professionalism. Just know what to do with their players to succeed. It seems like Mac Jones just wasn't that guy, so we'll see who they get. It seems like it'll be Caleb Williams, first quarterback taken. Chicago, who has 2nd pick? I forgot, but then I think New England has the 3rd. Oh wait, New England has 2nd pick, or the Commanders have the 3rd pick, and they have Sam Howell, the Commanders, and Howell got sacked all of last year, and then he seemed to get tired because he kept throwing picks, not doing well at all. I thought he would do better than he did, but disappointed. So now the Commanders need a quarterback, and they might pick Drake May, North Carolina, just like Sam Howell, or they might take Jaden Daniels, or they might take Caleb Williams. I don't know who's going to be the best out of those quarterbacks, but maybe it'll be Jaden Daniels. I hope it is. The Commanders, I guess I like them a bit because of DC, but we'll see what they pick. I would like Sam Howell. I would trust him, but if you have a chance to pick a nice young stud rookie, you got to pick him too. So we'll see who they go with. But if Sam Howell was from North Carolina and Drake May is from North Carolina, who's going to be better? LSU hasn't had a lot of luck with quarterbacks, but Joe Burrow my guy, LSU, he was amazing. Won national championship. So Jaden Daniels from LSU, he could do well, and he's worth a first overall pick to Chicago, unless they keep Justin Fields, which I'd rather him come to the Steelers. But now the Steelers got Russell Wilson. Another big news: Russell Wilson signed a 1-year contract for $1.2 million with the Steelers. So now the Steelers are gonna have Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson. And like I said, Russell Wilson is not what he was before, but he has good players around him. He has a competent staff around him. The offensive coordinator has changed this season, so going on to, like, they changed last season, going into this season now. So we'll see how they work together. But I don't know, maybe they'll be a good record, be a playoff team. You never know what can happen if Russell Wilson can at least manage to do well. Just grind it out for one season. But would I rather them trade for Justin Fields? Yeah, I would prefer that. But it seems like it's unlikely now, because then they'll have 3 quarterbacks on their team. So Wilson signed for $1.2 million, and Denver is gonna be paying Russell Wilson still $37 million next season. So he's okay. That $1.2 million is like nothing to him. He's gonna get paid almost $40 million. Okay, so I managed to get through this episode of Dub's Paradise, episode 5. Tomorrow we'll be back talking about what happened to Chelsea. We're gonna be talking about the Champions League matchups. We'll go more into depth about that. And we're going to be talking about the Indian Wells results. MLB season is on its way. Every day is one more day closer to MLB season starting, and it's going to be another great season, hopefully. Some breakout stars. Hopefully my fantasy teams will do well. I have a draft tonight, and then maybe tomorrow I'll show that what happened with the draft. And thanks for watching. As always, like the video, subscribe to Dub's Paradise, comment any opinions, anything you want to hear, what I should talk about in these episodes. And thanks for bearing with me with my sickness. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be better. So that was episode 5, and have a great Monday.